Well, thank you for coming on the red carpet round table.
Of course.
Myself and Daryl
Thank you for having
are
me.
are
Yeah.
co-hosting this. Can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, as we were just talking about it, I'm from Italy, right? I was born and raised. I moved to the States to New York where I am now 3 years ago. It's 3 years now this December. So feels like second home at this point. So yeah, I mean I've lived in Italy my entire life. So moving here has been a change, definitely. Um, with all that comes with change, so it's like a good sides of it, bad sides of it. Um, but yeah, so I act, and amongst the other things, I mean, you know how it is. I write a little here and there. I try to stay active on all fronts of arts, because you kind of have slash need to. Um, so yeah, I mean, I moved here because of acting in the first place, right? I had done few things in Italy, but I thought it would be wise for me to move here because you're always in time to go back to backtrace. So but it's so far it's been as good as it has been challenging. So which I like because otherwise it gets boring. You know.
Well, that's good. My follow-up question, real quick, is
Please.
what's the difference between Italy and the United States acting that you have noticed so far?
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. See, this is the $1 million question for me because I have been thinking about this just as a question for the universe. I have been thinking about it, and first of all, I think it's well the language, obviously, because you know how they say like language unlocks personalities, right? When you learn a new language, you have a different personality that comes out. So I feel like that's what I have noticed for me because I know I have other actors that I've met from different parts of the world, and we've all agreed on the fact that our first language has a different kind of truthfulness to it. Uh,
Hmm.
Not necessarily meaning that when I act in English, I'm not truthful to myself. It's just because it is your first language. When you open your mouth and you're like, "Whoa, this just hit me harder than, than English would have maybe." Um, so that's like I guess a part of it. And objectively, I think we have different training. I think we train differently. Actors in Europe, but even within Europe, there's very different acting styles. You go to UK, it's one thing, and then you move to Italy, it's like a completely different thing, or Germany, and all that. So I feel like the US gives a little. The US has. I don't really know how to word it so that it's efficiently said, but I have perceived more, in a way, more freedom of you can just this is probably I'm stretching a little, but there's more freedom of just you don't have to get a thing right necessarily, as in when you're there's no right way to do a scene.
Hmm.
I mean, it still has to serve the story, but there's no and like what I've seen from my experience of Italy, it's a little more linked to traditions and that are rooted in language. It's like you have to sound a specific way so that it's universally within the country accepted that it's like, oh, you're the actor, you're an actor. And because we have, I mean, in Italy, we have like very regional dialects and accents and all that. Sometimes I personally hear, I've heard people, actors in movies and shows, and unless they have to sound like they're from a specific area, they'll all sound like they're from Rome, for example, right? Which is great. it's great. It's just a style, and it's what it's been. So the default, you turn on the TV in Italy and you'll hear Rome, which
Yeah.
is, again, it's
Hmm.
good. I'm just saying, here I feel like I turn on the TV, I hear a little bit of everything,
Hmm.
regardless of where the story is necessarily taking place in. So, but I've done things there too, and it's like it's never been. You do what you have to. It's just that's one objective difference that for me has I've noticed. Let's say through the years here.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
What what was that moment for you where, you was like, I'm gonna make this life-changing transition,
Right.
and why New York?
Damn. So
No, it's okay. It's the truth.
it is. Well, so I have to say that. So my family has always, well, my family lives in Italy as of now, right? So, but they've always had, we've had family friends from the States, right? And my mom and my dad, they've always had a thing for this country here, and
Hmm.
specifically New York, this city, right? And I can't really tell you why that's been. It's my family's always been very open. Like it's like 300 people they would like to have every day, for dinner, and that is part of how open they've been always in their lives to meet new people. And I think that's like where it's taken them in the years of having friends everywhere. And I grew up with New York in my ears, if that makes sense. There's
Mhm.
this place. I was in elementary school, third grade or fourth grade, and I was talking to my friends about New York, and my friends were like, "I don't know what that is," because like not necessarily in third grade in another continent, you don't necessarily know of other realities like that. And it's always been like present for me. Like I had the first time I came here, I visited, I was 15. I came here on vacation a couple of times, but it's always been there for me. It's always been this place that I've looked up to in some way, even before being here through my parents. This is, I don't want to drift off topic, but my my friend, my mom and my dad, they've had friends on Long Island. They had friends, they they are, I don't know. I've lived New York through them a little. So when I graduated from high school and I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to pursue this career. I was like, you know what? I think I might just go there and see what happens, because it's always attracted me, and I feel like I needed to experience it and then
Hmm.
draw my conclusions afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Well,
My
yeah.
Yeah.
second follow-up question with that is, now that you have moved to New York, how has your expectations changed?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
was it everything that you were hoping it would be once you made that transition there?
Right. So definitely, well, it's funny because I moved here and the first 3 months were the months where I expected to feel like the shock of having moved. But it came kind of like it followed after, because I moved here, everything was new, and I started making friends, and I started auditioning, and I start so like it was everything was very new. So I had that excitement of, whoa, this is like a new thing that I'm doing, which is still there. I'm still excited, but it's sunk into my routine. So at this point, I feel like it's hard to judge, as it's become such a familiar place for me. When I'm here, I want to be in Italy. When I'm in Italy, I want to be here. So I don't know where, how to
You're
balance that, figure
homesick.
that out. Yeah, yeah, but it's interesting how that plays out sometimes. But anyways, in terms of expectations, well, I have surely encountered a lot of difficulties, that I didn't necessarily see coming. It's I'm as a both an immigrant and the legal complications that come with that to have everything with the right documents and all, right? So definitely that part of it I didn't necessarily realize right away. So when I did, uh, it's made things hard to an extent to which sometimes I was like, what? Why am I even? Who made me do it? But but then here I am. So I I hate this place and I love it. And I love New York a lot. I owe so much to it, but some days are like I wish I wasn't walking on 8th Avenue. But expectations have been met for me.
Mhm.
Like I moved here with the idea of doing what I wanted to do, and I am with at different paces, but at different times doing what I want. So I know that I wouldn't have been able necessarily to do this had I stayed back home. So I think, yeah, that's my answer to it, I'd say.
That's
That's
good.
awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
we'll go into your acting now. What can you tell the audience about your upcoming projects that you have?
Right.
And
Right.
I'll have a follow-up question after that.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for the question, first of all. I, well, this year, so there are a couple of short films that I've been in the States that I haven't obviously, well, we shot this summer and end of the summer, so it's I haven't even heard anything in terms of post production yet, but they're coming. They're coming at a point, either at the end of the year, but surely for spring. And um, excuse me. I'm excited for these two things, especially one that I had a role, very quick role, but really beautiful set to be on. And this is a short. It's called, well, it's a short, but it's the idea is to develop it into a longer thing in the future, right? As sort of as a proof of concept for now, and which is titled for Lila. I think it was beginning of September that we shot, and so that's coming. And it is in a way linked to immigration. Um, I won't say why, but that's why I'm excited to see it myself because sometimes you shoot things and you have an idea of how it's going to be, and then you look at it, it's like I did not see that coming, right? So, but then I'm currently shooting something in Italy. Well, currently as I'm in New York now, but I'm within the end of the year. I'm doing back and forth between Italy and here because I have I role in a Netflix show in Italy. So that's
Congrats.
to be, thank you.
Congratulations.
That's to be coming next year. Yeah, I can't really, but I'm
I
excited for that.
understand. You can't
Yeah,
tell us.
yeah,
No, I totally
yeah.
understand that. Um, my next follow-up question is, what's your favorite genre that your dream
Oh,
role that you want to be in? Like
right.
crime, horror movie, or you want to be a police detective, or
Mm,
what's your or
I
superhero?
see. I see what you mean. Well, favorite genre that I watch a lot of horror stuff. I I think it's yeah, that's what I feel called by. Um, for me to be in is it's an interesting question because you know how it is when you audition and you do that, things come your way and you're not maybe in the position to be like this script I won't do this one. So it's not really been like that. Um however, I would I don't even know, honestly. I feel like I feel like I would love to be in either a good comedy. I feel like even on theater, and when I say genres, I'm including theater too because I love theater. So, but also one of those um, intricate like family dramas. I feel like it's either or. But hey, I as long as I'm doing what I like, which is just acting, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
real
Go ahead,
quick,
go
I
ahead.
had to
Sorry.
cut you off because you said something
Yeah,
a
no,
good point there. You
yeah,
love what you're doing.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
I just had to say, step in there because that's the truth, right? And I'm pretty sure Daryl can say that as well. If we love what we're doing, then why stop? Why, right? We
I
keep
agree.
doing and we get what role. I know I'm not an actor, I'm going to say that, but we get what role we get, right? And that's true. So I just wanted to say thank you for saying that because a lot of
Of
people hear
course,
that in the entertainment industry who'll be watching this. They say you love what you're doing. And that's what everybody says. That's true. So thank you.
of
Yeah.
course. I think it's well. If you had something to uh, say to
Yeah,
that,
I
also,
was going to
yeah,
say that, me being as an actor, I knew coming into this, it was not going to be easy at all.
yeah,
And I knew that it was challenging, but I think so many people have a tendency to run from challenges, but it's the
totally,
challenges that create the character within you to be successful. And
yeah.
if you can get through that challenge and you see a light of opportunity, that's what fuels you to keep moving forward. And that's
I
the
agree.
thing.
That's
100%.
what do you. It's really important because I feel like you said it. I mean, there has to be a lot of determination
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of discipline. I feel like that's a big part of it because there's so much rejection in the industry, right? It's I'd say a yes every 180, 70 no, like it is like that, right? And so it's like how do you because that rejection is not necessarily personal, as in like it's not necessarily you can't do what you're not good enough. It's not necessarily that. It's just you're not maybe the right person for what they're looking for. But at the same time, it does feel personal because it's you they're rejecting. So it's like, if I think if there's a lack of discipline and love, you're not gonna be able to keep up. I don't think that's yeah.
Same.
Same,
Yeah.
it's the
Hmm.
truth, right? Passion,
Yeah.
love, and keep fighting, and you love what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that.
Of
So,
course. Of course. That's
I'm
such a
gonna let
big
Daryl
truth.
have a question because I know I already
Yeah.
asked three questions. So, Daryl,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say that, one of my favorite quotes is, success isn't what makes you happy.
Hmm.
Happiness is what creates your success. If
Agreed.
you had something that fuels you or inspires you that's more of a quote, what would it be that would speak your language for everyone who's listening?
Oh, damn. I guess you mean as in like sort of like from what we've been saying, like what would be something that would resonate? Is that
Yeah, like more of a quote that really resonates with
mm,
you as a person, as an actor, as an artist.
to me it's well, okay, when you wake up in the morning, right? And or when you think of what am I, how many times, I've thought as I think you also have, it's what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? Because there is that question. It's like, why do I want to go through this?
So many times.
Right. And at the end of the day, I go to bed or I wake up and it's like, it doesn't really matter like why necessarily. I know that it's almost like I have to do it because that's what I do instinctively.
Mhm.
So linking myself to the instinct, right? And I'm not saying the why isn't important, right? But I'm saying if you know that it's something that feels right for you, I think that's what should you should listen to because and to complete what I'm saying with what you asked, it's like instinct over instinct over rationality for me. That's what it is. That's what helps. It's instinct over brain necessarily. Obviously, I mean, you still have to do your math at the end of the day. There's a lot of things to consider properly, but I think it's instinct. Like, there's so many big decisions sometimes. Do I move there? Do I not move there? Do I get that job? Do I say yes? Do I say no? But then if I say yes, then XYZ happens. If I say no, ABC happens. And it's like, who cares? Like,
Right.
does it feel right? Does it not feel right? Because if your guts are saying no, then you know. And I think that has a lot to do with the truthfulness of this craft. I don't think you can go ahead if you're not truthful to the decisions that you're making. So I would say instinct and discipline are definitely when you put those two together. Oh, you, you know, I feel like it's
Unstoppable.
yeah, it's a good fuel for that. And it's also another thing. It's like for me, it's um reminding myself of you said, it's happiness. It's happiness that defines then how successful and where you find your success. And it's true because sometimes I get auditions and I'm like, oh, and because it's like this is another audition. It's like so much work in it, so much work, so much which I love, but it's so much energy, and it's like you get those thoughts. It's like, what am I doing this for? But then it's like that's what you're supposed to be enjoying
Mhm.
because that's what you get to do. And then after that, you let it go. And if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, next time.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's very hard because obviously we all have aspirations and places we would like to be, but uh, it's like that for me. That's why I try to remind myself. It's uh,
Well,
yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
of course,
Um,
of course.
my next follow-up question,
Hmm.
um, we're gonna go into you and your family a
Oh,
little bit. Are you
okay.
only child? If not, are you any of your siblings acting as well?
I'm an only child. Yes, I'm an only child. I mean, I have a very I don't have any siblings. Then I have a few sibling like bonds in my family, and I have a bond like that with my cousin. Um, we grew up together, so like literally physically
Hmm.
grew up together. So I she is my cousin, blood wise, but it's more of a
The bond and
um,
the family,
fraternal
right?
type of
Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, my family is it's not that big, but it's an we say in Italian, it's an open harbor, every ship that wants to dock can. And then we take it from there. So
That's a good one.
yeah. We don't have I mean, obviously you have to be careful. But it's we like people.
That's amazing.
But I'm the only one acting, in my family. I have well my cousin, she sings, right? So there is some art running through the veins. And she sings really well. She Shout out to her, honestly. She's yeah. So I would love to do something with her, like a project together. Uh it's working, it's cooking. It's just never happened yet.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
As an artist, has there been any acting classes that you've taken since you've been to New York? And if so, what was the best part of it that you loved the most?
Right. So I trained here at the New York Film Academy in New York. And I mean, I haven't really taken any other classes after my my time there. I'm planning to because I think it's important to keep um active, being you have to stay in certain environments. I think it's important. But so that's what I've been doing here. I took classes, well, what I've been doing in terms of training. I took classes in Italy too, but not on like the New York Film Academy has been the biggest training that I have received in the acting department. Um, Definitely something that that it gave me besides the knowledge that one can give, because it's also a tricky question. I feel like sometimes it's like, what can you and what can't you teach about acting? Um, it's definitely meeting people. I've met very good people that have helped me professionally, personally, and I think that well, people is everything in this field. Whether it's because people remember you, or because you can actually work directly with them. It's really important. So that's something that's been um, very important for me in my journey. The people that I've met, because that's you only have people at the end of the day. It's like, yeah,
How have your friends back home responded to your transition going to New York
right.
and becoming an actor? How have they felt about that? Have they expressed that to you? Have that inspired them? Let's talk about it.
Mm. So I have very good friends in Italy. It's a couple friends, that I've brought. One of them, I grew up with this person. Also, we were together in kindergarten. The others I've met along the way, and they've all been very supportive of me, and that's helped because also I wanted to move here. I remember before moving here, it was also right after lockdown, so things had been a little weird. We at the time we wished we had been able to spend more time together, knowing also that I would be moving and all that. Uh, it has been a big question, at first, because it's like, when am I going to see you, and how will our bond change, because we've never been distant from
Yeah.
each other, right? So the daily interactions that are going to miss, that are going to lack, how does that affect the bond, right? But then I feel like they came to visit. I go back home at least 2 times a year for holidays and whatnot, or for work, So we've found our way of being what we've always been. And at the end of the day, nothing has changed, because nothing has changed. Moving here has also shown me who wasn't really here for me, but it's like, it's life, because not necessarily in a negative way or like in a conscious, I'm not his friend. It's just like, when you get away from someone, it's like, I feel like you either get closer or you just
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
don't keep up with uh, communication and all that. But I can't. I'm really happy. I'm really happy about the friendships that I have and how they've been there for me. Because it's also not easy being away from home. Yeah, that's what I would say about my friends.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course,
Very
yeah,
important that your friends are still supporting you.
yeah, yeah, and obviously, like, just we don't. I can go 2 or 3 months without talking to my real friends, because I know that the moment I pick up the phone, nothing has changed. And there's not that mutual expectation of, you have to respond to my message in 2 hours, or I'm not your friend anymore, because that's just not realistic. Yeah.
Thank you. Um,
Yeah.
so my next question is, it's a curious question. Do
Hmm.
you see yourself taking another step and moving across the United States to the big Los Angeles for acting to pursue
Right,
that as well?
right. Hey, it's like I I don't know. I mean, I've only been there once, and it wasn't for professional purposes. I feel like I like New York a lot in terms of my lifestyle and what I've been able to create so far in these past 3 years. Because it is a lot. Sometimes I'm like, oh, damn, it's been 3 years. But then it's like it's only 3 years, and I feel like that part of it I reminds me that I wouldn't be able to move there now unless I had something to film there or some a reason to be there. I don't think I'd pack my things and go to LA right now. I think that what I've been able to do in New York is going well where it is now. And especially today, it's all self-taping and it's like I've auditioned for my Netflix role in Italy right here in this room. It's so it doesn't really, there's a reason to be there. I'd probably go, but I like where I am now. I think it's a good place for me to be for the
Thank you
time
for
being.
sharing that thoughts.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Hmm.
I think my question for you is, you know, and I think every actor thinks about this because
Hmm.
time as an artist flies by so quickly. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh my God. Damn.
I was going to ask that too, but but
No, no,
Daryl,
that's
my co-host Daryl asked
very
the question.
it's a very wow, okay. I think what I have ideally, right, in the perfect world, I see the things that I do now, acting wise, I I would like to keep working as I have been doing so that in a 3 or 5 year span of time, it's more the results are more consistent and regular because that's what I want to do and that's what I would like to happen for me. So that's the professional side of it, right? And then there's also personal bonds, which I think about a lot because you know how this job can request you to sacrifice a lot of your personal
Hmm.
aspect of life. Hey, I'm also like sometimes I remind myself I'm also like 21 and it's like sometimes I feel like I'm late for things and I feel like that's regardless of the age, it's like you always feel like you're late to do anything. But I say it because it's like I don't mean to sound like I want to have things figured out now in a way of
Hmm.
personal life and all. However, I also think, it would be nice to have, the my personal bonds that sometimes they had to be sacrificed for because priorities at times, it's like it's on me too. It's just I would like to find a different balance between these two things. Um, so yeah, that's where I would see in myself in 5 years, doing what I am doing more consistently then, and maybe being able to be more okay with the sacrifice and the yeah how those sacrifices that I've done, um, be more okay with them as in like you did them for a reason and it's not necessarily that you don't care about those things. It's just that you have everything comes at a price.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
true.
I think it's
Mhm.
very cool for you being 21, brother, and you are chasing a dream because not very many young men
Mhm.
your age would have the discipline and desire to be so focused to go after the very
Mhm.
things such as acting, knowing how hard it is, but
Yeah.
also knowing that You can walk in the bar right down the street and party, hang out every week with friends, and just act like life is always going to exist.
Yeah. I I I ask myself that too sometimes. It's like I've never I don't know. I feel like that's why I said earlier, like, why do I do this? Like, I have an idea, obviously, and I know deep down, and it's a feeling more than it is words. It's just, I, this is what I feel like I, I'm free in a way by doing, by wanting to do this. I feel, I have a lot of other interests that I consider pursuing as a profession, right? And but then, and sometimes I have thought about what if I just did that. Um, but then it's like, even by saying it, there's something in my stomach. It's like, no, no, like you can't really because this is what I want to do, and I know and I know that if I hadn't given all of me to do what I want to do, I would regret it so hard and for the rest of my life. Like I need to know that I have gone for it because so that's why I also hey it's also I guess like nature sometimes like discipline is taught, that's for sure, but it's like it's also like what do you have that makes you do that, and it's something that I feel like it's part of who you are.
Oh, yeah. And it's
The,
also one of those things that I feel like what sets you apart from everyone else
Mhm.
because of that discipline.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is that, and it's like I have friends that have other qualities of sticking to certain situations that have then been beneficial for them that I wouldn't have been able to handle, right? And then it's like we all have this thing, but it is true. You have to have something that you feel in you. It's like yeah, this is I need to do this. Period. I need to do it.
That's amazing. And you
I
are,
feel like you can share the thought. I know I'm saying it, but I know that it's like I think it goes like that for you. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
same field.
I think you're
Yeah.
exactly right because you said
mhm.
I loved what you said at the end, which was period. Why?
Yeah.
Because when you put something at the end, there's no other excuses. This is going to get done.
Yeah. It's so complicated, but it's so simple at the end of the day. It's such a simple concept. Yeah.
That's true. I totally agree. It's the period is the concept, and like like Daryl said, you could easily go out and drink. You're 21 years old.
Oh
And
yeah, I've thought about in the moments of like what am I doing? It's like, you know what? I just could be just relaxing at a bar, which is like you can still do that. I don't think that's my lifestyle. I don't think that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, nothing wrong with it. It's like I have a lot of friends that do that regularly, and it's like they're perfectly happy. I'm just not. That's not what I
hmm
want to do. So
Well, and I just think that, when you are an actor,
yeah.
you go out, you hang out, nothing wrong with that. But when
Oh
your
yeah.
agent sends you an audition, you got to be on point here.
100%. It's so true, and it's also like sometimes I go for like a day trip, and all I'll bring in my backpack is my tripod and light because what if? It's like what if I have to do an audition? Because it's true. It's that. It's a big priority, and
Right.
it's
100% be prepared. You never know. Anything could happen.
100%,
Right.
100%. And it's also the need that comes with it.
That's true.
I felt for myself. It's like sometimes I I'm like, I want to take a little break from creating stuff, whatever that means for you. And then you go about your day and you find yourself still doing what you said you were going to take a break from, but you do it just out of who you are,
Hmm.
you know. So yeah.
Um, it's very true. The passion,
Hmm.
courage and commitment
Yeah.
to be in the be in the entertainment industry. And um, my mind went blank. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, but
So,
that's that's fine. That's fine. That's me every day, honestly, when I try to just
right. I think
do
part of me is
chores.
just, thinking of all the stuff all the creative ideas that you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's kind of like you're moving from, uh, you went from New York, I mean, not from New York, Italy to New York, and
Mhm.
that's so encouraging and so amazing. Um, all that stuff that's been,
I appreciate that. That means a lot to
yes,
hear.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
yes, you're very welcome. Um, my next question for you, um, is, um, what do you do for fun when you're not acting?
Right. uh so before I moved here, so I grew up in the I grew up in the countryside, like but very, very like deep Italy type of concept, right? Which I love. That's part of who I am, and I've always been around animals. I grew up around animals. I have animals. I've always had animals with my family. It's also that's what I've been doing before moving here. I've always in Italy I have well now the situation has changed a little, but I would have my pond with my turtle and my fish, and then I have a horse. I've done show jumping my entire life before moving here, and I love swimming. I would also swim competitively the pool at sea. Part of my family's from the coast and from a little island of Italy, so I've always whenever despite acting being what I want to do and what I love like that, sometimes it still feels like you're working. It's a job, like it requires a lot of energy. Even though if it's what it, even though you love it, right? So sometimes just for me being able to just like get a break from it feels like you're getting out of your office and you're going to your horse, to your animal, to your whatever it is that you're doing. So that's what I would do. Then I moved here, and the situation has shifted a little because obviously I'm not going to have my horse on in my bedroom here, and I have my fish tanks in my room. I needed that because it's part of who I am, and just my lifeless room, but besides me, just made me uncomfortable. So I take care of it, and that helps in my daily routine. Here, I try to go for I go for walks. I sometimes I go to animal stores, like pet stores, fish stores. I I definitely miss that part of my life back home, because it's something that I knew was there. I could just go to it, and here it's like it's a little different. So how do I'm learning to deal with that. And then there's a big part of me which is also into I I love simulations like flight simulators and all that. So I do that also. I do that also. So yeah, I've discovered things that I didn't know I necessarily enjoyed before moving here because I don't have access to in Italy. So here sometimes I go to a coffee shop and I sit down
Hmm.
and or like I read.
Right.
I go to Central Park, sit on a rock, and look at people. It's very
Hmm.
interesting to
Well,
look at people.
you said flight simulator. I also do flight simulator.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Damn. What can I ask? What?
Well,
What
I
is the
have the
software
Microsoft
being
Flight. I
used?
have the Microsoft Flight Simulator,
I see.
and I
I
fly
see.
international.
Oh, you do? Great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I I have well, I used to it's X-Plane 12.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about simulators here, but
Sorry, no,
it's
no. It's just, you just brought it up real quick. It's okay. It's off a little bit off topic. It's like it's a little patience. You got to talk to the control tower, and you have to do all this stuff, and you have to.
oh, it's so
Yeah,
much
it's.
work,
But
you know.
international is the best because when you're flying over the water, you can be like,
Oh,
okay, I
I
could take a nap for
know.
10 hours and wake up, and then you're like, I'm not there
Literally,
yet.
you know, after you after you've been cleared. What's the? Okay, I'm just gonna make such a niche reference. I don't even remember myself. I the what's the well? There was the name of one of the quadrant like on the North Atlantic for the oh my God,
Oh,
Langer
I.
radio, Langer or something.
Wow, you're
But
putting me on the spot. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's
it's okay. That's okay. But you see, that's something that I like doing. Sometimes I just like uh read about engines, planes, and stuff. You know,
yeah. I just had to mention
I
that because you said flight
I know I
simulation.
appreciate it. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
I,
Thank
I
you
don't
for
do as much as I used to, but
same. Same. I
I still
understand.
do it when I can. I'll get on and like maybe fly from like LA to New York or New York to
Yeah,
LA or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
Like
I
a
understand.
7 hour flight, and realistically, so yeah, and you get to experience
Yeah.
like real turbulence, real weather, and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It's amazing.
it's amazing,
Every time I hop on a plane, I'm like, I hear every noise. I'm like, I know exactly what that is.
right?
It's like we land. I'm like, have you turned off? Have you turned off APU? Like, have you done that? It's like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, anyway, thank you
I'm
for
happy you share that.
mentioning that. That's so it's
Of
exciting.
course, of course.
We went a little off topic. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Sorry, you're.
Like we were talking about games instead of acting. So it's kind of cool. So any flight simulator fans out there who may be watching this, we talked about it. So you can go, woo, give us a hands thumbs down, a thumbs up for that,
One hundred
100%. So
percent.
welcome back, Daryl. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you.
Well, I just had a catastrophe here. The lights, everything's had to go and get the charger for the computer.
Oh, okay. I was,
But
I saw, I'm sorry, I was looking at
the lights were
up there.
attacking me. The lights started attacking me, bro.
And then I just saw Daryl, you disappear, and I was like, wait, am I? And then I see you come
I
back. I
just
was
could
like,
not bear to just vanish while this is going on. So
no, it's
You just
okay.
sat there in silence through the planes,
So
plane talk.
um my my last question, unless something else
Yeah.
comes up for you, is what is your message to young
Mm,
artists who are in Italy and Europe,
mm,
especially? So that's all countries of Europe, and by your home
mhm.
country, Italy, of course,
Yeah.
and the United States who are looking up to you and saying, I'm in high school, or I'm in middle school, and I see you at 21, you just packed up your stuff, moved across the ocean, across from another country to another continent. In your mind, if I'm hearing that as myself, this is the same question, but I'm doing a follow-up, doing two questions
Yeah.
in my mind, if I was a 15-year-old person and I was in Italy or United States or anywhere, and I'm listening to you saying, "Wow, you just packed up your stuff and went," I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, "Wait, how?" So in it's like for you, what is your encourage,
Mhm.
inspiring, motivation message for
Yeah.
all these young actors and actresses out there who are looking up to you and saying, if he went from my home country, Italy or England or wherever, and I want to go to New
Yeah.
York or Los Angeles for acting,
Mhm.
what's your big, huge motivation speech?
Um, I think I could
I know I put you on the
condense.
spot.
Yeah, no, please. That's what I'm here for. Uh, so to me, I would say don't let anybody tell you what you can't or can't do. I think that's what it is. Now, obviously, there are specific situations that are different. Every situation is different, right? I have done what I have done also, yes, thanks to my drive, my passion, my love, all that you want. But it's also because I had a family that really supported me. And that, and when you're 15, 16, that's a big part of it because you need your family's
Hmm.
help to even help. I'm talking about like not even materialistic help. Just like you need your emotional support sometimes to be able to process and come to a
Hmm.
conclusion. So that's something that obviously like you can't really, that's a premise. It's there or it's not. But regardless of that, it's that what I said stands. That's a big thing for me. The moment you let, I think also really anything is possible. Like
Amen.
because it's not possible until it is, and I and it's a question. You can metaphorically speaking, you can go from listen, you can go to uh from Florence to London and fly an hour and 40 flying British first class. That's perfect, right? You could also go to London flying Ryanair for $20. You could also go to London driving. You could also go to London taking a walk. It's just going to
Mhm.
take 3 months more, but you're still going to get to London. And it, so, like, you can't take the plane. I'll walk. Shit. Like, so it's like, what do you want to do? And it's like acting over speaking things. Like, just do it. Just do
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
towards what you want to do. Even if it's moving this book from this shelf to the other, just do something. Because the moment you stop doing things, so that's what I'd say.
Thank you. That
Just keep doing things. Keep doing.
one thing I want to say
Yeah.
is that you mentioned support, family support, and
Yeah.
that's very true. And also just go for it. Have the
Yeah.
passion, and that's 100%. So thank you for sharing that.
100%. Of course. That's a
Yes, and
big thing for me
that's a
because yeah.
very powerful, encouraging message to all those young actors and actresses out there. And thank
100%.
you for
100%.
sharing that.
Of course, that means a lot. This is what, why I feel like that's why we do art. It's like I you do it so that other people can hear it or see it and develop and go from there. So it's a big thing for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like sometimes in life that in order to inspire the next generation, you have to be the very person who's making the sacrifices for other people to see what is possible. And
100%.
you, my friend, at the age that you are at, is showing everyone what is possible.
Very
And
I
true.
appreciate that.
yes, it's hard. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, there are good days and bad days, but what is always will be there are opportunities if you want them bad enough. And
That's you said it.
and
It's all about
so
it's all about what you want to do. It's all about what you want to do and what you do to do it.
yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Of course.
for saying that. And
Yeah.
Daryl and I, we appreciate you for coming on the
Of
round
course.
table.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was great. I always enjoy talking to people that understand what I'm saying,
Hmm.
and that share the view. It's important. So I really appreciate you for having me here with you guys, discuss and talk.
Well, it's been an honor.
It's definitely been an honor, and I apologize to you for my boxing match with my lights here.
Oh, please,
No,
And
it's
please.
okay, Daryl. I mean, I was
I,
just, for a minute, I just see you. I was looking at because from I'm being honest, I'm right here and you're right here and you're right at the bottom. So I was just looking at the top. That sounds horrible saying that, but I was looking, and the next thing I know, I kind of like, where did Daryl go? I just see the wall, and then I was like, I just see things. I was like, I think I see a shadow. I don't know what's going on. And then I see you come over here with this light. And then I was like, it falls on you, then you put it back up and you put it in the fucking in.
Honestly, that's so
But to
real.
be honest, that's part of the interest. That was like it was like a movie set. It was like, oh, lights, camera, action. Here's Daryl on set again. I was like, I was like,
Oh my
he
God.
said he set back to one real quick.
Right.
Just like
hey, I
reset,
was just speaking the truth. You had the lights, bam, camera, bam, action, bam. You're sitting down, you're
Yeah.
ready. That's what I was seeing. I was like, where did Daryl go? And I see the light falling. You're trying to put it back up, and you're
Oh
trying
my
to.
goodness. This is a whole process. And hey, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Right, Ochi, you know what I'm talking about.
I,
Everything
I
has to make sure you're lit and you look I mean,
Yes, yes.
woo,
yeah, I know.
my
I know.
goodness.
Well, thank you. This is gonna be I want an excitement interview everybody be watching and we're like, wait, where did Derek
Yeah,
go? That he's
true
coming
that.
back.
True
What's
that.
going on here?
There's a couple cameos appearances in it, like the same person, in and out.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, of course. Well, you guys have a great rest of your evening,
Yes, and
and
and oh, forgot. Where can people find you on social media?
oh, well, I mainly use Instagram, and it's just underscore first and last name underscore, and that's my main like social page. And then yeah, I mean through that you can just see my website and all the rest. It's linked in my Instagram. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, everyone who's been watching, thank you for watching the Red Cup Roundtable. Don't forget to follow myself and Daryl, and please support us, and we love you guys. Thank you. Thank
But
you for coming
most
on.
importantly, follow Enea.
Yes, please follow
Thank you.
Renee. That's a very important.
Thank
My
you.
mind
Thank
just
you.
went blank. Sorry, Daryl. Thank you for reminding.
That
Sorry,
means a
Renee.
lot.
But
That means
please,
no, that's all right. That's all
please,
right.
please follow Renee and support Renee and let's help Renee and anybody out there in New York, especially. If you're in New York, you're an actor and you're looking for
Producer,
new
filmmaker.
filmmakers. If you're
Here's your
looking for
guy right here.
We're here. We're here.
if you're looking for a new actor friend, contact Renee. He's in New York.
What I'd be happy to to network with everybody really. So you know.
Yes. Well, thank you for
All
coming
right.
on,
Of
and
course.
we look
All
forward to
right.
having you back.
I I can't wait next time with new things for sure.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you so much for
Thank you
having me.
again.
Bye. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye
You
bye.
Have a
too.
great one.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.